Hello and welcome back to the AA NBA podcast. I'm your host, Aiden Hammond.
And I'm Aditya.
And today we have got some gosh dang news for you. What do you want to start with? Power rankings first, obviously?
Yeah, we'll go with power rankings.
Okay. All right. So, you want to go first? You want me to go first?
I can go first. So I think you went first last time. I don't really remember that. But coming in at number 5, we have the Milwaukee Bucks. They are number 5 because they went 0-2 this week. They lost to the Nets and Lakers, which are two good teams, right? But
those are better losses than the other teams you were considering.
Yeah, but it's you're supposed to be one of those top-tier teams. You got to win those games. Yeah. But, they lost both their games, but they're still a 2 seed in the East. They're 9-6, I believe.
Yeah.
And, so I just kept them in a number 5.
Okay. I have got the Milwaukee Bucks as well at my number 5. Pretty much the same reasons Aditya said. If you want to be considered a contender, you got to beat the contenders. And they just didn't do that this week. But I think their 2 losses this week are better than the Pacers and Celtics losses. I think they're better than the Suns losses and the Trailblazers losses. So, honestly, this was more of just process of elimination. Who deserves to be out more than in? So the Bucks were just the last team that deserved to be in.
I mean, there was really only 2 or 3 teams in the top 5 or 6 in their conference that had a winning record this week. So it was kind of hard to put that together.
Yeah. And the Nets are the 7th seed. We'll talk about the Nets later because Jesus Christ. But
my number 4 is the Utah Jazz. Now, I was thinking about putting them in at 3, actually, because they went 3-0 this week, and they're the 3 seed in the East right now. But they're closing in on the 1 and 2 seed, because the Clippers and Lakers are both 12-4, and they're 11-4. So they're right up there with, the best teams. And I love it, because I love Donovan Mitchell. Yeah. But I had to keep them at 4, just because, they're not up at that 1 and 2 seed. So even though they're playing well, and again, keep in mind, top 4 in the NBA is still a very good position to be in. So it's I'm not trying to be disrespectful, but did you see the post-game interview you had with Shaq? Donovan Mitchell had with Shaq. And
we
Shaq
also have to talk about that. That was another big news thing this week.
Yeah, I want to talk about that after.
I want to save that because I want to just save that for its own segment so we can just go in.
Okay, then you're up.
Yeah. All right, my number 4 is the Philadelphia 76ers. Philadelphia is the best team in the East right now. However, they dropped a game to the Grizzlies on Saturday. And they were 2-1 this week. They beat the Celtics pretty handily twice in 2 days or 3 days. They beat them on Wednesday and Friday. Mm-hmm. So 2 good wins, 1 not so great loss. But it also, the Grizzlies aren't bad, and they only lost by 2 points. But they're not. They didn't go undefeated this week, which can be said for the team that I have above them.
Spoiler alert.
Yeah.
My number 3?
Yeah.
All right, and the number 3 spot, I have the Lakers.
Ooh.
They went 1-1. They beat the Bucks and they lost to the Warriors. So, good win and an all right loss. It's not a bad loss, I'd say, because the Warriors are still a pretty good team. But
if it was the Warriors 3 weeks ago, it would be a bad loss.
Mm-hmm. But the Bucks were a good win. It's just the fact that they only played 2 games and they only won 1 of them. So I kind of had to lower them a little bit. But one thing I wanted to talk about when we bring up the Lakers is how, LeBron has just kind of been coasting this season and just chilling.
Yeah.
And averaging 24, 7 and 7 still.
LeBron.
And we've seen him. He'll have, he had this type of game against the Bucks where he goes from, I'm just coasting through the season, just vibing, to, when he's playing against the Bucks, he was all right, I'm killing this dude now. And he just goes out and has an insane game. And he does that in like games too, where he'll be coasting, but it's like, oh, our team needs a quick, 7 points. Well, let me just have 3 straight possessions where I ball out, and then I'll go back to chilling.
Do you think he knows that it's because there is no way in hell anybody is going to vote for him to win MVP as long as Anthony Davis is on that team with him?
Probably.
I kind of think so,
but
too.
it's incredible.
Like, the Lakers are going to be the 1 seed, and, like, he doesn't need to put up gaudy numbers to do it. So I think he's like, well, I mean, I'm 36. I'm content with my 4 MVPs. And not like he's not to imply he's complacent or anything like bad that LeBron fans would get on me for. Just like to say that
a championship is more valuable than an MVP.
A championship is way more valuable. Nobody is going to care in 30 years whether or not he won 4 MVPs or 12 MVPs. I mean, maybe 4 and 12, but like 4 versus 5 is not a big difference. People will care if he has 4 or 5 rings, though.
Mm-hmm.
All right. My number 3 is the Utah Jazz. The Utah Jazz are better than I expected them to be this year. I'm just going to be straight up. I thought the Jazz were going to be kind of in that middling Western Conference playoff team range like they always are, like the 4 to the 7-ish, and they're just not. They're a top-tier Western Conference basketball team this year. They're a top 10 NBA basketball team this year. If they were in the East, they would be the 1 seed.
They essentially switched place with the Nuggets.
Yeah, kind of.
The Jazz are usually a team that starts slow and then like makes the playoffs as like a 6 seed. And the Nuggets are that team that's like just stays up there the whole season, and they switched.
Yeah. But the Jazz, so this week the Jazz had, I would say, 3 quality ones. They beat the Nuggets on Sunday, and they beat the Pelicans in back-to-back games. And now the Pelicans are 5-8. They've lost I think they're 1 in 6 or 1 in 7 in their last 7 or 8. So they're not good.
5-9.
Oh, are they 5-9 now?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's right, because it brings up the box score from that game and the records from that going into that game. Okay, yeah, they're 5-9. They've been bad, but the fact that the Jazz are able to, I guess, withstand some of the most ridiculous basketball stat lines I've ever seen from Zion Williamson. He'll put up 35 points on 13 of 15 from the field or something. That's insane.
Mm-hmm.
People don't do that. And they're winning those games where he does that. So their defense is good. Their offense is excellent. They're just a good basketball team.
Yeah.
What's your number 2?
Is the Philadelphia 76ers. Now, I have them up here because, the loss to the Grizzlies was not great. You were right about that. But I feel I value the 2 Celtics wins back-to-back because even though they didn't have Tatum, which is very important, by the way, the Celtics didn't have Tatum, but Jaylen Brown was playing an all-star starter or an MVP caliber player for
I think he averaged 35 or 40 points per game through those 2 games.
So he was playing out of his mind, but Joel Embiid was also playing out of his mind, and that Sixers team is playing how they were supposed to be playing last year.
2 years ago.
2 years ago, yeah. And we were talking about this in the party yesterday, but it was they only really made obviously made some smaller moves. They brought in Seth Curry. They sort of got some more shooters, but the 2 big things they did were essentially get rid of Al Horford and fire Brett Brown, and this team is a whole different team.
It's the moves it's the smaller moves. You're right. It's the smaller moves that they made that have helped them though, because they did what everybody has been telling them to do for years and years and years now. Basically since they drafted Ben Simmons. Get shooters and you'll be fine. And they got 2 really good shooters. No matter what you have to say about Danny Green, he's a very good shooter. And Seth Curry, who is arguably the best pure shooter in the NBA right now, who's averaging 60% from 3.
60% and 18 points or whatever. Yeah.
I mean, I say basically because Curry, his brother Steph Curry exists, and Klay Thompson hasn't played in 2 years.
Right.
When Klay Thompson is playing, he's the best pure shooter.
Mm-hmm.
But Seth Curry has been incredible this year. He's averaging 18 points on 60% from 3 or something insane. These are like Duncan Robinson playoff numbers.
Well, Duncan Robinson in the playoffs wasn't great, remember?
Or wait, what was it? Was it the bubble? Or was it just the end of the regular season? I remember seeing some stat line where he was averaging like 7 made threes a game or something, or 6 made threes a game at one point last season.
It was probably towards the end of the season. I'm not sure.
Yeah. I don't know, but he's
Seth Curry's
been
stat line.
absurd. He's been incredible. They were hurting a little bit with him injured, but since he's been back, they've been incredible. Joel Embiid is in the conversation for MVP right now. If the season ended today, he'd probably get all of the votes.
Yeah, we'll talk about this when we do our quarter season predictions, maybe next week.
Next week, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But Seth Curry this season is averaging 17 points per game and shooting 59.6% from 3-point with 5 attempts a game.
Yeah.
That's insane.
Yeah, he's been ridiculous. They did exactly what everybody has told them to do for years.
Mm-hmm.
And look at what happened. They're winning basketball games and looking like the team that they were supposed to be 2 years ago. So
better late than never, I guess.
Yeah. All right, what's your number one?
Don't you have to do your number 2?
Oh, yeah, baby. It's the Los Angeles Lakers. They've been incredible this season. We know that they're the best team in the league, but they just didn't really play like it this week.
Yeah,
and
they did in one of their 2 games.
Yeah, they did. Yeah. But I had to put them number 2 because just overall combined with the last week, there's only one team that's been better than them. And we'll get to that.
Yeah.
Because I think we have the same number 1.
Hopefully.
Yes, hopefully.
All right. The number 1 team in our week, 5 power rankings?
Yeah. You want to count down? It should be the same team.
Yeah.
All right. 3,
2,
1.
Cleveland Cavaliers.
The New York Knicks. The New York Knicks are the best team
Cavaliers,
in the league right now.
Baby.
Listen,
look,
we
the
can
Cavs
disagree
went
with this,
2-0
but
on the Nets.
The East runs through New York still, Aditya.
Do you not remember
understand.
what Tristan Thompson said? The East runs through Cleveland.
It does, but I don't understand how you can possibly say. Let me ask you this:
When was the last time?
In a way, the best team
last time the Knicks went to the finals? Because I'll tell you, the last time the Cavs went to the finals, 2018. All right, and they're getting back there this year.
All right. Listen, Cleveland is great, but they haven't had land and love. They haven't had they've had half of Sexland, and you know what? I think they can be very good, but we just haven't seen them at full strength in a couple weeks. So I don't know. I just got to disagree with you.
Full strength yesterday when they whooped the Nets' ass.
They did kind of beat the shit out of them
twice.
All right, our real number 1 is the Los Angeles Clippers, though.
Yeah, they finished the week 3-0. They beat the Pacers, the Kings, and the Hawks. No, not the Hawks. The Thunder. My bad.
Yeah,
I can't read my own handwriting.
Clippers. God. Yeah, the Clippers were incredible. They've won 4 straight games by 14 or more, which is ridiculous, and 2 of those they lost 2 straight games by 35 points. That's insane.
Yeah.
But I know they're gonna fall off, but
they won't fall off in the regular season. Don't be silly.
Yeah, in the playoffs they're gonna fall off though.
Yeah.
Paul George is averaging 24 points on 50-50-90, and people are like, "Oh, where are the haters now?" Once again, we're waiting for the playoffs.
Yeah, that's when that's when the real Paul George slander shines.
Yeah, the Clippers tricked me last year, and I'm still mad at them for it. But I have to put them number 1 because they're the best team in the league right now.
Yep.
Just by all every counting metric, they are the best team in the league.
They are.
I don't know about every counting metric, but wins and losses, and then best wins in the last week.
Yep. But yeah, no.
Did you know the Lakers are 8-0 in away games and 4-4 in home? That's kind of crazy.
Maybe they don't want home court advantage in the playoffs.
Yeah. Maybe they're not.
Maybe that's why LeBron's
Right.
coasting. He's like, dude, I'm trying to lose these games here, and the rest of this league is just so awful that I'm still winning.
Yeah. Facts.
Because for some reason, Kentavious can only play well when we're not in Los Angeles.
Hey, we're not dissing on Kentavious Caldwell-Pope.
I'm not
The
dissing.
DT. He got paid
popped
for a
off.
reason.
Oh, was it against the Bucks where he had like 20 or something?
Yeah, he was really good.
Yeah. But yeah, all right. So that's it for our power rankings for the
Yeah.
week.
I'll be right
now,
back. You just vamp for a second. It'll take me like 30 seconds to do this.
All right. Should I go to the next topic?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, let's move on. Some news. Killian Hayes of the Detroit Pistons. I don't know. Some of you might not have watched that episode, but a few weeks ago, there's some news came out that like he had hurt his hip or something. I don't remember exactly what the injury was, but it was like he could either get surgery for it, probably be out for the season, or at least most of the season, but he'd be like fully healthy, or he could just sit out for like a few weeks and then just not get surgery and be able to play again. And it was
All right, I'm back.
the question was like, dude, because like obviously you want him to be fully healthy for the future. You don't care about this season because it's a throwaway season, and
Yeah.
so get the surgery, get fully healthy. At least that was our thinking. Don't try to force yourself to play in a lost season. But the Pistons had other ideas, because Killian Hayes is not getting surgery. He's just going to rest for a few weeks and then go back and play. For whatever
okay.
reason.
So I found some injury details. So it is a labral tear in his right hip, according to the Detroit Free Press. So he was going to be out. So yeah, you basically got everything. He was going to be out for 6 to 9 months, which it would be the entirety of the season if he got the surgery. And he's not doing that. And
Yeah. Reason.
Neither of us can figure out why he's doing that. This is a complete throwaway season for Detroit. It's just a throwaway. It's nothing. There's no reason for him to be playing. Like I get it if it was if it was an actual injury that he could like I get it, avoiding surgery is usually like the way to go if you can do it, but this does not seem like it's a torn labrum in your hip. Like that's not good.
Yeah, I don't know, like the dangers of this surgery, I guess, but it's like, even if you don't get surgery, like just don't play this season. Don't force yourself to and risk worsening the injury or getting another injury like this because it didn't heal properly.
Or if you're the Detroit Pistons, getting a better draft or getting a worse draft pick.
Yeah.
Like, there is literally zero incentive for both Killian Hayes and the organization to make him play through this injury. I don't understand it. There's absolutely no reason. Like, obviously for his career moving forward, he could maybe re-tear this. He could, there are issues that could happen with that. And then for the actual organization, if he's playing, whether you like it or not, he's better than most of the players on your team already right now, and you will probably win a couple more games than you would without him.
Yeah.
Which is going to hurt your draft positioning, just period. I don't understand this move at all.
I don't either. But, maybe they want him to play so that he can develop more, get some more on-court action, but I just don't see, the worth in it,
Yeah, but if, yes, but if the risk of re-injury and, continuing to injure this and having to play through pain just seems like we're not basketball general managers, and we know that he shouldn't be playing through this, so I don't understand why they're yeah, just do it, Killian, just don't get the surgery. I don't understand.
I would assume, I would assume the Pistons wouldn't be dumb enough to have him actually play through it. They just probably want to make sure he's not, like, in any danger, I guess, is a good way to put it.
Yeah.
But, like,
so are they reevaluating in 8 weeks, or are they just straight up not getting the surgery?
I think as of for right now, they're not getting the surgery, but, like, if they reevaluate and something goes wrong or, like, he's not making the progress they had hoped for, then they'd probably get the surgery. I would assume anyway.
Okay, so it's not guaranteed that they're going to skip the surgery. So that's good.
It just might get delayed for 2 months.
Yeah, which I don't understand. Just, like, do it now.
Yeah. But anyway, that's enough of that because it's sad.
Yeah.
In other sad news, last week the Pacers traded for Karis LeVert.
Yes.
He got an MRI done, and they found a small mass on his kidney. Not great.
Yeah.
He's going to have to get that removed.
Yeah. The Pacers did get, like, some sort of... They got, like, an extra second-round pick and a couple, like, some cash. But obviously the centerpiece of that trade is going to be out for a while. But good news... It is likely, you said it was likely not cancer, correct?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. Yeah, so he could, like, best case scenario, he has to sit out a couple weeks. But the good thing is the Pacers doctors were very thorough, he said, and he was really grateful to the organization for doing that. And he was also thinking that he got very lucky for that he had to get a physical and, like, be traded at that point. So
maybe he'll stick around for more than 2 years.
Yeah, so the Pacers are building up some goodwill with him, which is always good to do with players that you trade for, especially players who, like, it's got to hurt to be like, I get to live in New York, I get to play with Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving and James Harden, and then you get moved. Like, that's just got to suck.
You get moved. Not only just do you get moved to Indiana.
Yeah.
And
that's got to suck.
Yeah.
But the Pacers are building some goodwill with that. He seems to be excited to be a part of the organization. So good for him. Good for the Pacers. Get well soon, Karis.
Mm-hmm. Get well soon. I was pretty excited to watch him play. Now I'll just have to wait a few weeks.
I was too. Yeah. It's okay. Miles and Brogdon and Sabonis are holding it down.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, all right. That's all I have written down, but I know you had some, like, narratives and stuff, or storylines or whatever.
Yeah, so let's talk about you want to talk about the Nets or the Knicks first?
The Knicks.
All right, so the New York Knicks are not horrible. For the first time in what feels like a decade, because it really has been like a decade. It's been like 7 or 8 years.
They're not good either. They're still like the 9th
Well, no,
seed.
but they're not terrible. Like, they are not like a bottom-tier Eastern Conference team anymore, which feels very weird to say.
But they probably will be once we get another, like, 30 games into the season.
Probably. If the season ended today, the Knicks are the 8th seed at 8-9.
Yeah.
1 game ahead of the Bulls. The Knicks have now, in 4 straight games, they've beaten the Kings, the Warriors, the Magic, and the Celtics. So I would say really like 2.5 quality wins because the Kings suck. Oh, wait, no, the Kings won. Oh, okay. So, oops, look at that box score wrong. But in the last 4, they have, I would say, 2.5 quality wins because the Celtics and the Warriors are a quality win, and the Magic are but they're still pretty decent. So I would give that, I would say that
the Magic are the 10 seed. I thought they were better than that right now.
Well, they started like 4-0.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
But no, the Knicks led by... Honestly, I was going to say, I mean, obviously led by Julius Randle, their MVP candidate, but what's his name? RJ Barrett's been pretty solid, actually.
Yeah, RJ Barrett's fucking awesome. He got way too much, I'll just say this, he got way too much hate. What did you want him to do? Like, he was the 3rd overall pick going to the worst situation in the NBA. Like, of course he wasn't going to be great his rookie year. Yeah. But he's turned it around a lot, and He's been good. Quickly has been really fun and good. He's got this nice floater. Robinson's been good. Julius Randle is like, he would be like an all NBA player if the season ended today. He would be on an all NBA team for sure.
Which is very strange to say.
Yeah. Obi Toppin, we haven't really seen much of him because he's been hurt, but when he plays,
Tibbs
he's
is
okay.
running the rotation.
He's running like a 6-man rotation,
which is pretty. I mean, that's
it's
pretty
standard
for
it's
a Tibbs
Tibbs
rotation. Yeah, but
yeah.
I mean, the team hasn't looked completely unplayable under him. Like they're actually not.
No,
even
they
if
are.
They lose. It's
pretty
not
good.
like the Knicks of 2 or 3 years ago, where it's just embarrassing to watch their games.
Yeah.
It's a lot
you don't
harder.
feel dirty after watching a Knicks game.
Yeah, it's a lot harder this season to have a Knicks corner where we just make fun of them.
Yeah, because they're good.
Which
and
is kind of a con because we don't get to make fun of them.
Yeah, it is fun to make fun of the Knicks. So, I'm trying to find... The Knicks are like the number 1 ranked defense right now, which is good. Right?
That would be something that is considered good, yes.
Yeah, so that's a good thing. I'm struggling so much with this because this feels very weird to say. The Knicks are a good basketball team.
They're an okay basketball team.
Right now, they are a pretty good basketball team.
And they're in the top, 50% of the league?
Yeah. But I saw this tweet earlier, and this is why I want to talk about the Knicks, because Knicks fans are getting a little ahead of themselves. They're at the point where they're like, give us our dues. We're the New York Knicks, and we want respect. So, Joseph Flynn, I just saw this tweet. I have nothing against this guy. But he said, Cavs are 500 with a minus 3.98 net rating. And then NBA writers, wow, this is a nice story. The Knicks are 500 with a negative 1.26 net rating. NBA writers, frauds, fucking lucky-ass frauds. Knicks fans, listen.
No NBA writers are writing about either team.
Yeah, nobody gives a fuck about the Cavs either. The Cavs are a meme because of Sexland. That's it. Nobody thinks that the Cavs are like this awesome team. Everybody is making nobody's like taking the Cavs seriously. We're all making fun of the Cavaliers too. Like they are. Although, the Cavaliers.
I mean, they have been solid. So they're not.
They've been okay. Yeah. So have the Knicks. But the fact that this guy felt the need that the Knicks are so disrespected that he had to write a satire tweet about basketball writers in relation to the Knicks. The Knicks, it's the fucking Knicks, dude. You haven't been good in 20 years. Of course everybody's going to make fun of you because you fucking suck every year.
Because it happens every year not last year or the year before that, but when they had Kristaps, it happened where they started off pretty well. They're 8 and 9 right now. That's pretty solid. Give it a few weeks, they'll be at the bottom of the standings again. Yeah, they might not be 15 because I think the Pistons have got that one on lock. But they'll be 12 or they'll probably be 11 or 12.
I think the Knicks' ceiling this year is the play-in tournament. That's what I will say. I don't think that they're gonna make the playoffs just straight up as a 7 seed or anything like that. No, I think they are a play-in tournament team.
I mean, I even think best. The Cavs will fall. The Cavs are the 5 seed right now. They'll probably be the 7 or 8 seed.
Yeah, and nobody, the other thing with that is nobody's the Cavs are a nice story. I haven't seen anybody saying that. People are wow, Colin Sexton's fucking awesome when he's hot. And that's about it. Nobody's talking about the Cavs as, this feel-good basketball story. It's just the fucking Cavs who are okay. Yeah, nobody's who's really gone under the radar this year? Andre Drummond.
The only time the other Cavs get recognition is, the memes, because Larry Nance tweeted out Sexland is now covered in trees or something, or surrounded by trees. And then there was that one picture that you sent yesterday, and it's 4 Nets players in the post, and the ball's up for a rebound, and Andre Drummond is just sprinting to the hoop.
Yeah. Yeah. But the Knicks are, I don't know, Nobody's calling the Knicks frauds either. It's the fucking Knicks, and we know they're bad.
Do you think Knicks fans at this point are just living in their own delusion? Like, they've been
I
so
don't
bad for
understand
so
it. Like,
long.
Knicks,
They've been so bad for so long that they think people are just out to get them now. And it's just like paranoia.
I don't know, dude. Like, I want the Knicks. I don't really want the Knicks to be good because they're pretty fucking unbearable when they are. But
I mean, we haven't been alive for that, so.
I wouldn't hate it if the Knicks were good. Like, it's not this horrible thing. Like, nobody, like, Knicks fans, we're not out to get you. We don't care. We do not give a fuck whether the Knicks are good or not.
Yeah, when you say people are, like, disrespecting you, it's not disrespect. We're just ignoring you because we don't care.
Yeah. Like,
which I guess could be disrespectful in its own right, but you gotta, like, be good first.
Yeah, like, the Cavs... once again, the Cavs are not, like, this team that's getting a ton of media attention like you think you are.
The only time the Cavs
like,
get media attention is when they have a game like they had the first game against the Nets where Colin Sexton had, like, 20 points in overtime.
Or when they play the Lakers and everybody's like, LeBron homecoming?
Yeah.
Question mark? Like, it's... Like, it's fucking Cleveland. Cleveland doesn't get national media attention because their sports franchises... Actually, they do. Because when their franchises stop being embarrassing for one fucking year, they get, like, national media attention like crazy, like the Browns got this year.
If anything, you should be honored because they're saying your franchise hasn't been so bad in the last 5 years that having a win is a national media thing.
And straight up, the Knicks have been way worse than the Cavs these last 5 years.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Because the Cavs had LeBron for 2 of those, or 3 of those years. So, I don't know. It's very much a, why are you bitching about this sort of thing? I don't really get it. It seems like something that's not worth talking about.
That's because the Knicks are just this
underdog, underrated team. Like,
dude, the
you
Knicks
are
the
the most...
Be the Heat this year. They're underdogs.
You're the most valuable franchise in the league. You consistently turn, like, probably 10-figure profit. The only reason that you don't win is because your owner is so incompetent that he can't step down. That is the only reason that you don't win. The national God hasn't put a curse on the fucking Knicks.
Bro, he's so incompetent that he made Madison Square Garden unappealing.
Yeah, he has made straight up, like, when you are in a major media market like New York, there is no excuse for you to not win. Which is weird because New York has a lot of bad fucking sports teams. Like, they have a lot of shit. Like, their hockey teams haven't been great recently. The fucking Jets are embarrassing. The Giants are terrible. Like, the Nets until this year were embarrassing. The Knicks are bad. The Mets and the Yankees. The Mets are a meme. The Yankees are always disappointing.
The Giants have Super Bowls in the last century.
Yeah, the Yankees have a World Series. Like, I guess what I'm saying is, like, there was this tweet I saw. It was like, New York has 2 teams for every sport, and they're somehow all bad.
Yeah.
Like, New York, get over yourself. There is no reason for you to not succeed. We don't feel bad for you. You have the biggest concentration of incompetency of any market in all of sports. It's ridiculous. Get your shit together. Fuck.
Well said. All right, what do you got next?
KPJ, Kevin Porter Jr. That escalated very quickly. He reportedly got in a spat with the Cavs because...
Did we talk about this last week? I don't think so.
I don't think so, because I think it happened on Monday or Sunday.
Yeah.
So he got in a spat because they gave his locker to Taurean Prince, which kind of makes sense because he's like been away from the team all year. Like, I don't even think he's been on the bench in street clothes, right?
I don't think so.
So he was mad about that. So they traded him. They traded him to the Rockets. And look, I'm not here to hate on Kevin Porter Jr. I think he should try to get some of his personal issues figured out, though, before he enters the team with enters with the Rockets. Because, I mean, at this point, a lot of NBA teams aren't very open to dealing with those issues. And, like, that's not to say that he's like a horrible person. It's just that like this might be your last chance, and I want you to figure it out and the Cavaliers, they got a conditional second rounder back, which is kind of crazy because they had the 30th. They took him with the 30th overall pick in the first round, and then immediately within 2 years or within a year, they flipped him for like basically
a
nothing.
Protected second rounder.
Yeah, which I didn't even think you could do. Like, I've never seen a protected second rounder in my life.
Because no one cares enough about them to protect them.
Exactly. I don't know. I want him to, but for the Rockets, when Kevin Porter plays, he can be okay.
Yeah.
He just needs to figure out some of his mental health issues and off the court stuff. But This feels like a move for the Rockets that like he needs a change of scenery. We just traded James Harden. We got some of these pieces. We have a bunch of picks. We're probably not going to be great for the next couple of years, so let's bring this guy in. He's got like star potential probably, and
I think he's got he might maybe make an all-star once in his career. So.
Oh, I don't know. I think he's still got that potential in there. I just think he needs to figure out his personal issues, which, is not impossible. Players have done it frequently.
The way I see it from the Rockets' point of view, it's like we can get this 21-year-old guy for a protected second rounder. If he works out, he works out. If he doesn't, we probably could still get our second rounder back. So,
yeah, exactly. So yeah, that's all we got to say about Kevin Porter Jr.
Yeah,
I think. Who else? What else? Oh, we were gonna talk about the Nets.
Yes.
We got to see the Nets' big three in action this week. We get to see them tonight because they're all playing tonight. And it went weird. So the Nets played, the Nets played on Saturday, on Monday, on Wednesday, and yesterday. And they went 2-2. In James Harden's first game, he had like a 35-point triple-double against the Magic. That was on Saturday. Against the Bucks, he and KD both played. They both played well. That will be a fun playoff series if it happens, I think, because it was a super close game. Even though I think Kyrie is probably going to be the X factor and just beat the shit out of the Bucks. Or be the reason that they beat the shit out of the Bucks because they didn't have him. And then Wednesday night, really fucking awesome game. So let's just go through this game. KD, Harden, Kyrie all had 20 or more points. Kevin Durant had 38. Kyrie had 37. This team does not play a lick of defense.
Not at all.
Like, it is horrific. It is terrible. It's bad. Like, there is nothing. I have no words to describe how bad this
Steve
defense
Nash
is.
at the helm. So I mean,
yeah, that's true. Actually, not exactly a defensive-minded player or coach. They gave up 20 points in the second overtime period, 34 points in total in overtime, and Cleveland, going into that game, was the 29th ranked offense in the league. This is not a good offense that they were playing. Colin Sexton, half of Sexland, if you will, dropped 42 on their heads, playing only 38 minutes, which, for a double OT game, doesn't seem like a lot. I don't know. Okoro played more minutes than him, and he had like 8 points.
Yeah. But Sexton had like 15 points in that OT. Or 15 straight
he was
points
absolutely
out of like 20
incredible
in the OT or whatever.
Yeah, he was ridiculous. That's like the most fun I've had watching any basketball game this year. He was ridiculous. And this was, I'm not overreacting to this because I know that this is the first game of the Nets' big three, but they are 9-8 now, and I don't really know what to think. Like, KD didn't play last night, and Kyrie and Harden still played pretty well.
Yeah.
But they lost to the Cavaliers again. Harden didn't really play well. He had like 19 points.
I saw
Kyrie had 38 again.
What's it? An Instagram page called Real NBA Quotes after the Wednesday game, because it was like Colin Sexton was just hitting 3 after 3 after 3. So it was like, it's a satire page that makes up fake quotes, right? And it was some dude that was like, wow, Colin Sexton's really lighting us up. I should guard him. And it's like Kevin Durant saying that. And you swipe over, and it's a clip of Sexton hitting a 3 over Kevin Durant. And it's James Harden being like, I'll step aside. I'll take over and guard him. And then it's Colin Sexton a 3 over James Harden. And it's Kyrie Irving saying, all right, I'll guard him on this last possession. And then it's Colin Sexton hitting a 3 over Kyrie Irving.
Yeah, he was fucking unconscious. And he had 25 and 9 last night, which is still very good. But that's not 42 points. And they still, the Nets still lost by 12. It was a very balanced scoring output from the Cavs, and the Nets just couldn't do shit. Yeah. I don't understand this, dude. Their defense, first of all, they have to figure out their defense. I think that was, with depth, probably the main concern for this team, because, even though Kevin Durant was an all-NBA defender in Golden State, you tear your Achilles, you're not going to get that same lateral quickness back no matter what. You can't be as good of a defender after an Achilles tear. Even if you think Kevin Durant has been, better this year than the last time he played, he just, he's been a better shooter, yeah, and he's been a better scorer, he's been a better offensive player, but, defensively, And then Kyrie and James Harden are both, kind of mad defenders, too. And then, DeAndre Jordan can't pick up Andre Drummond in the post to save his life. That's not happening.
Yeah, their center rotation is not good. It's what, DeAndre Jordan and Jeff Green? That's...
Yeah. Pretty bad.
Yeah. So, obviously, when you have 3, top players in the NBA, you'll be fine. They'll figure it out and they'll be good. But,
yeah.
To get a championship, there is a few things they got to work out. And they have, yes. This is a team where pretty much everyone's locked down for at least 2 to 3 years. So they have
James Harden's the first one.
Yeah. So they have an off season to figure it out if they need to. But you can't, wait this out too long. You got to get your shit together.
Yeah, exactly.
And then the last thing that I have, at least, you might have some more stuff, but we were talking earlier about Shaq and Donovan Mitchell's little interaction post-game. If you want to talk about that.
Dude, it was so fucking awkward. Shaq was it was the most wrong that interaction could have possibly gone for Shaquille O'Neal. He says, I don't know if you have what it takes. I like you a lot, but I don't know what it takes. And Donovan Mitchell was just all right. I do not care what you have to say at all.
Which at this point is the way, obviously Shaq's a legend, but he's talking a lot of shit to
He's a legend, yeah, but pardon me for saying this, but the legends, when Michael Jordan and even Kobe and LeBron were coming up, the legends did not act like this. I know that Wilt in the 90s was I would have kicked all your asses, or Bill Russell, but that was clear ribbing among legends of the game. It was Bill Russell and Wilt saying this to Michael Jordan and Hakeem. That's one thing.
And they don't,
that's one
most
thing.
Legends don't even do that to players in this generation. Kobe was super supportive of everybody.
Yeah, exactly. But there's just something about those TNT guys that just
even
and it's not Kenny doesn't even do that.
Because they were all defending
Charles kind of
Rudy
does.
Gobert.
Charles says some dumb shit.
But no, they were all defending Rudy Gobert, and Shaq's no, he's garbage. I don't talk about him. And it's bro, come on.
Yeah, it's a very weird dynamic because, I genuinely can't think of a legend that's done this to this extent to this many players. Michael Jordan was either supportive or didn't say shit about Kobe and LeBron when they were coming up and, playing at his level. He never was LeBron ain't shit, I would have kicked his ass one-on-one. I can't remember a time where Michael Jordan did something like that. And same with LeBron. LeBron doesn't come out here and... Oh, okay. Hold on, let me stop mine. All right, we're back. Adichie just pressed spacebar on accident, so... But yeah, I can't remember a legend that's done this to this extent. Even LeBron, LeBron was nothing but supportive to the young guys in Cleveland. I like Los Angeles was kind of a mess that first year where he was like openly shopping them.
But he also
While
he
the
was
season was
shopping
going on.
them, but he also wasn't like, yeah, these guys don't know how to play basketball. I
Yeah,
don't see them being good. Like,
these young boys ain't shit. He was just like, I want Anthony Davis.
yeah, which is a very fair thing to do.
It is, yeah. But I there's a way to say that. Like, there is a way where Shaq could have been like, Don, you're one of my favorite young players. Like, I want to know, do you think you have, or even that would probably be too harsh. Just like, I don't know, or maybe like just you proved me wrong in the playoffs last year. I didn't know if you had what it takes, and you were scored like you were averaging like 35 points a game or whatever.
Or didn't they get bounced in the first round?
They did, and they blew a 3-1 lead, but like Donovan Mitchell wasn't the reason that they did that. Like, he was
Or maybe
about
Shaq
as good as they possibly
just
could have been.
Don't say that. Period.
Yeah, that's
I
true.
will say though, like, obviously it's a little different with their situations, but Donovan Mitchell seemingly takes that a lot better than Trae Young did. And obviously it's different situations because I don't know if Donovan Mitchell idolized Shaq, but like,
Yeah.
Speaking of which, I guess Trae Young actually, his last 2 games, he had like 38 and 42. So,
Yeah, Trae Young is back.
Yeah,
he's been incredible.
He's playing well again, but John Collins
Yeah,
isn't,
I mean,
'cause he
Trae Young
sucks.
has said that he models his game after Steve Nash. I think that's a little different.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's what I'm saying. It's not to the same extent, but like...
Like, can you imagine if you were in the NBA and Dwayne Wade was like, yeah, I fucking hate that guy. Like, that would probably crush you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like...
But honestly, if Shaq said that to me too, I'd still be like, damn, that kind of hurted me, though. You know?
Probably, but, I mean, a lot of people would just be like, fuck you.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's
That's
very bizarre.
But Trae Young's been playing well, Maybe Trae, just a little advice here, maybe give John Collins the ball a little more.
Yes.
Your team's doing fine, but I need fantasy points. So if you could be so kind, that would be much appreciated. And John,
also,
when you do get
Reddish,
the ball, please make the shots.
Yeah. Cam Reddish, we need you to go off as well, too. So.
And DeAndre Hunter, please.
Yeah.
I don't care as much about Cam Reddish because he's not on my team, but like DeAndre Hunter, John Collins, pop off a little bit, please.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think, is that all we got?
Yeah.
All right, cool. Thanks for watching. Remember to subscribe if you want more. Our personal channels will be in the description, as well as the socials and Aiden's article. Yeah, I think that's still in the description. So yeah, check all that stuff out if you're interested and want more content from us. I don't know. But yeah, thanks for watching.
All right. Bye.